Canned tomatoes can make great marinara, but what if I told you roasting them first makes it even better? This simple trick adds depth, sweetness, and a rich flavor without extra effort. Today, I'm showing you how to make the best homemade marinara by roasting canned tomatoes found in your pantry, and trust me, you'll never go back. Most marinara sauces are made by simmering tomatoes, but roasting first brings out a deeper, richer taste. We're also roasting the garlic and onion to add even more flavor. No bland sauce, no strange preservatives, and no extra sugar here. Just deep, bold, and perfectly balanced marinara. Let's get started. Hi friend, come on in. To start, I want to drain 4 cans of whatever peeled tomatoes I have on hand and spread them onto a lined baking sheet. Not only is this a great way to repurpose canned tomatoes, but this is a cheaper way to get a good quality marinara sauce without all the extra sugars and preservatives. This is using ingredients I already have in my pantry. I will be saving this juice. In the meantime, I want to get these drained tomatoes onto a lined baking sheet and spread them out in a uniform layer. I am using a 2/3 size sheet pan and 4 cans of tomatoes fit just fine on here. I'm not sure how well this would fit on a half sheet pan. If you don't have a silicone sheet, try using parchment or spray your sheet pan to prevent some sticking. I'm going to rough chop an onion. I am using a sweet onion because it's what I have, but any onion will work here. The onion will sweeten up as it roasts. For the garlic, peel about 25 to 30 whole garlic cloves. If you have a whole head of garlic and want to roast it in the skin, go ahead and cut the top off the whole head and drizzle a little olive oil on the cut and place it on the sheet pan with the tomatoes. My garlic heads were a little too dirty for me to feel comfortable adding it to the same tray as my tomatoes, so I'm just going to peel them up. A light smash will generally make peeling the paper off of them easier. I know this seems like a lot of garlic, but this too will mellow in the oven as it roasts. Feel free to add more or scale back the garlic based on your needs or what you have in your pantry. I am going to season the tomatoes with half the salt, dried oregano, and dried basil. We will adjust the flavor after the roasting process, but this is to just get it started. Give all that a drizzle with about a 1/4 cup of olive oil. I want to roast this at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 to 45 minutes, or until the tomatoes start to blister and caramelize. Keep a close eye on it at the end. You don't want anything to burn. While the tomatoes are roasting, I want to take most of the leftover tomato juice and some olive oil and place that in a large skillet or a saucier pan and reduce that down by at least half. This will help intensify the flavor and reduce waste. I hate food waste. I can also take this opportunity to add in more flavor by adding in 2 bay leaves while this reduces down. The bay leaves are optional, but they do add in a subtle depth to the sauce. If you love simple homemade pantry recipes like this, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more easy, flavorful meals. And let me know in the comments, what's your favorite way to use marinara sauce? The tomatoes have finished roasting and the liquid that was pooled by the side of the tomatoes has mostly evaporated away. I allowed the tomatoes to cool off a little. Scrape everything into a blender or food processor. You can keep it chunky or blend it smooth depending on your preference. If you love a sauce with texture, pulse it a few times until you get the texture you want. For a velvety smooth marinara, blend it until silky smooth. I have a little reserved tomato juice that I'm going to use to rinse the sheet pan. I want to add this to the pan that contains the reduced tomato juice. I have removed the bay leaves at this point. At this point, I want to add the rest of the ingredients, the remaining salt, basil, and oregano, as well as a pinch of chili flakes and a half teaspoon each of onion and garlic powders. Onion and garlic powder have a different flavor than using fresh, so this adds to the depth of flavor. Let this simmer so the flavors can come together. This is where we build even more depth. Do be really careful simmering a thick sauce like this. It has a tendency to spit like lava and make a mess or burn you. I want to finish building the flavor in the sauce. I didn't feel it needed it, but feel free to stir in a little bit more olive oil if you feel it needs it, some fresh basil if you have it, and a touch of sugar if needed. Since we roasted the tomatoes, they may already have the perfect balance of sweetness. I want to rinse the blender with some of the reserved tomato juice to make sure I get everything out. Give it a taste and adjust the flavors to your liking. The sugar can also help reduce the acidity of the tomatoes, which might not be a concern for you. I needed to add more salt to mine, but otherwise the flavors were great, rich, and sweet. And just like that, we have a rich, homemade marinara that's better than anything from a jar and has ingredients you can control. You can use this sauce right away, store it in the fridge for up to a week, or freeze it for later use. This sauce is so versatile. It can be used on pasta, homemade pizza, or as a dip. Add in some heavy cream and you can have a rosé sauce. Speaking of bread, I'll be showing you how to make the perfect homemade garlic bread soon, so stay tuned. But first, why not try this marinara on some crispy, no-fry chicken parmesan? If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll link it here. And that's it. Roasting canned tomatoes transforms them into an incredible marinara. Let me know in the comments how you'd use this sauce. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. And thanks for watching.